Okay, so welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Tullahoma. It is Sunday, May 16th, 2021. So welcome to all of you on Zoom. Welcome to those of you on the live stream, and welcome to those of you reviewing this on a recording. So we will start with the lighting of the chalice. So Cass will do the reading and I will light it.
This reading today is called Light is Returning. It's by Kate McPhee, and it comes from the Unitarian Universalist Association website. Around us, light is returning. It rekindles the spirit of life in the skeletons of trees. It brings forth new shoots from the soil. It wakes us from our inner slumber and invites us to see what lies beyond. We light this chalice in the spirit of our Earth's awakening and to reaffirm our commitment to the value of our home.
We'll now go to announcements. So, announcements. Ricky has his hand up.
Yes, we have a board meeting after service today, so board members and anybody who would like to attend, we will be continuing on after talkback.
All right, thank you, Ricky. Other announcements? So if you have one, yeah, Tom, go ahead.
I will go jump in Thursday night. We will be meeting normally on Thursday night. No, we're on Wednesday night now. That's terribly confusing. Scratch all that I said. We'll be meeting again on Wednesday night, and that will be at 7 o'clock. And if you need a way to get there, let us know, or Chuck or somebody. We got that all figured out.
Wait a minute, we're meeting Wednesday night now? I missed that somehow.
Never mind. I'm not going to do any more of these announcements. I was right the first time. It's very confusing. I'm sorry. Thursday night. Thursday
night, 7 o'clock. Yep.
Yeah.
Via Zoom, and just let one of us know if you need a link.
Yeah, there you go. That's it.
All right. Other announcements. Ricky, yes.
Sorry, I forgot to add. Starting this Tuesday, we'll be doing the Tuesday night Zoom therapeutic writing group. Starting at 7 o'clock, I believe it was, Chuck, for the, yep, okay, 7 p.m. Anybody who needs a link, just get with us, and like Chuck said, we'll get it to you.
Can you set that link out to the entire group?
Yeah, I haven't set up a link for that yet. I will do that, and I will send it out.
Thank you,
this
Chuck.
afternoon. And, yeah.
All right.
It's starting this Tuesday, day after tomorrow?
Yes, ma'am. And that was the one that we had the preview of at the church retreat.
One other announcement is as far as contributing to the church. If you want to donate to the church financially, you can do that by sending your contribution, a check to P.O. Box 331 in Tullahoma, 37388. Other announcements? Carrie. You're muted, Carrie.
And so I was. The speaker next Sunday will be Kelly Gilbert. She was supposed to have spoken with us last month, and we got our wires crossed. And she will be talking about before and beyond physical abuse. Kelly is the director of Haven of Hope, to whom we donate money every year.
Thank you. Where is Haven of Hope located?
Well, we don't know. It's a secret.
Well, I mean, what city? Do we know a city?
Yeah, they're in Manchester. Their offices are in Manchester. They cover, I think, 4 counties.
A multi-county area, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
They may have a business office somewhere, but the location.
Yeah, that's on.
Yeah,
that's on. On the road going into Manchester.
Okay, thank you.
Business office, but yeah, I understand what you were wanting to know.
Yep. Other announcements. If not, we are going to go to our reading and then to our speaker. So the reading comes out of our hymnal. It's number 537. Our Whole System is the name of the reading by Maria Mitchell. Earth is small, as is our whole system when compared with the infinity of creation. Brief is our life when compared with the cycles of time. We are all so tethered to all by the beautiful natural laws that not only a sparrow's fall is felt, but the vibrations are set in motion by the words that we utter. They reach through all space, and the tremor is felt through all time. So now we will go to our speaker, Wyatt, and I will let you tell the group what your title is, and it's all yours, Wyatt.
All right, thank you very much. Let me just go ahead and get my screen sharing set up. All right, here we go. Good morning, everyone. Today, I will be speaking to you about the spiritual influences and inspirations I've found in my favorite show of all time, Avatar: The Last Airbender, as well as how it's inspired my daily life and my spiritualism, albeit I don't have very much. So I'll start off with what is Avatar, because I'm not sure how many of you know about it. So Avatar: The Last Airbender was an animated series that ran on Nickelodeon from 2005 to 2008, and it consisted of 3 seasons, which were referred to as books. And the show is about this very powerful being called the Avatar, who can bend all 4 elements, earth, water, fire, and air, to their will. And I won't focus on that too much because that's a section of the talk that I'll dissect later. But the plot of the show involves the young Avatar, Aang, who is an airbender, being the last of his kind, because in their world, the nations are divided based on the elements. And the Fire Nation is an imperialist intruder who is led by the Fire Lord, essentially trying to take over each of these nations. And Aang, who ran away 100 years before the time that the show was set, was found in an iceberg by 2 water tribe villagers, Sokka and Katara, who are both brothers. And they help Aang with his identity as the Avatar, and they decide that they need to help Aang learn the other 3 elements in order to defeat the Avatar, defeat the Fire Lord, and fulfill his duty as the Avatar to restore balance in the world. And along the way, they meet several unique characters. And they're also being hunted down by, for the majority of the show, by Prince Zuko, who is the prince of the Fire Lord, banished from his family and is seeking redemption. And I'm just going to go ahead and say, there are some minor spoiler warnings. I'll do my best not to spoil major plot points, because I think this is such a great show. It has so many good role models, especially for kids. At the end of the day, I mean, it is a kid show, but it really transcends like that format. It really is best for families, I would say. So I could talk about Avatar by itself all day, but I think a good introduction would be the intro to the show. And I will give you a copyright disclaimer because this is all under fair use, just in case YouTube tries to take us down. So here is the aforementioned intro that is playing before each episode.
Water, earth, fire, air. Long ago, the four nations lived together in harmony. Then, everything changed when the Fire Nation attacked. Only the Avatar, master of all four elements, could stop them. But when the world needed him most, he vanished. 100 years passed and my brother and I discovered the new Avatar, an airbender named Aang. And although his airbending skills are great, he has a lot to learn before he's ready to save anyone. But I believe Aang can save the world.
All right, so that's the intro. All right.
Water.
All right, so what I'm going to do now is go through several different spiritual facets that are exhibited throughout the show and connect them to their real-world counterparts. Now, many of these can be found in Eastern philosophy and Eastern religions, yet some of these can also be found in different areas of the world as well. In this case, I'll be going through the tarot because with the four elements that were commonly referred to a long, long time ago, before the three states of matter and like atoms were established, at least in theory. So before 400 BCE, to be precise. That's just how the world was explained, the same way that like Greek and Roman myths were used to explain real world events. And sure, in Eastern philosophy in particular, there are a wide variety of explanations of the four elements, but I thought it would be interesting to take a look at the tarot because the tarot does contain some correlation. And this correlation exists with the cards that are known as the minor arcana. And it consists of four suits that each contain 14 cards. And these are the cups, the pentacles, the wands, and the swords. And each of these represent a different element in some way. So cups represent water, pentacles represent earth, wands represent fire, and the swords represent air. And so with more direct symbolism, the cups represent emotions and creativity, while the pentacles represent materialism and wealth. And then the wands represent assertiveness and power. And then the swords represent change and passion. And then concerning tarot readings, these cards signify daily insights into the life of whoever's being read. So how does this correlate to Avatar? Well, the way that the minor arcana is set up is in some ways accurate to the way that the four nations are set up and how the elements are used by the four nations. So rather than having me explain it, I will have Uncle Iroh explain it as he is mentoring his nephew, Prince Zuko.
Fire is the element of power. The people of the Fire Nation have desire and will, and the energy and drive to achieve what they want. Earth is the element of substance. The people of the Earth Kingdom are diverse and strong. They are persistent and enduring. Air is the element of freedom. The air nomads detached themselves from worldly concerns and found peace and freedom. Also, they apparently had pretty good senses of humor. Water is the element of change. The people of the water tribe are capable of adapting to many things. They have a deep sense of community and love that holds them together through anything.
Why are you telling me these things?
It is important to draw wisdom from many different places. If we take it from only one place, it becomes rigid and stale. Understanding others, the other elements, and the other nations will help you become whole.
Okay. So yeah, as Uncle Iro mentioned, without the four nations and their interactions with one another, there is a lack of balance in the world. And as we look through these different facets, that is one of the common themes and the common cores of the show is balance. So now onto the avatar state. So what exactly does the avatar state involve? So the avatar is not just Aang, the protagonist of the show. The avatar is whoever is able to wield four elements, and whoever possesses that power is reincarnated since basically the beginning of time. I don't want to spoil everything, like I said earlier, so I'll just leave it at that. So as the spirit of the avatar transitions to each body, it encompasses someone from a different nation. So, for example, before Aang, there was Roku, who was from the Fire Nation before they became tyrannical. And concerning real-world ideas of reincarnation, there are some interesting ideas, especially in Tibetan Buddhist culture, because they divide life into 6 stages that more or less break up reincarnation into different forms. And each of these stages are referred to as bardos, and I will do my best to pronounce these. So the first stage we have is the Chai Ka Bardo, and this is death. This is as soon as someone dies. And typically it's described as seeing a very powerful light, and I feel like that's a typical cliche. If you look like through multiple religions concerning death, you're going to see a great light, whether that be heaven or reincarnation, whatever it may be. And typically if someone has trouble submitting to this light and they're terrified of it, the weight of their own karma is going to pull them into the next stage, which is the Klosniad Bardo. And this is where the soul will get to see projections of its past self, the positives, the negatives, all of the significant interactions that it's had in its life. And failure to regard these interactions as neutral and just regarding them as moments of the past and being unable to move on will result in a sentence of your soul as another form, whether that is a ghost, a diva, which is a type of angel, a demon, an animal, or even a new human in some cases. So in the next stage, the Sidpa Bardo, this is where the soul seeks rebirth. And then this leads into the 4th stage, the Skies Nas Bardo, which is the waking consciousness as a new human is born. And then the other 2 stages are different stages that you would encounter throughout your own life. So the Mi Lombardo is basically dreaming, and the Samtan Bardo is meditation. So it's the deep state of of whether it's enlightenment or nirvana or just Zen. that you would achieve through meditation. And in the case of the avatar, meditation is the only way that you can really enter the avatar state. And as I will continue on, mastering the avatar state can only be achieved by recognizing all of one's chakras. So this is Aang right here, and he's in the avatar state because he has this blue glow around him, and he is looking at all of his past lives. So as I said right there, there's Roku. There's another avatar before him, Kyoshi, and she was from the Earth Kingdom. And there's a Water Tribe avatar. There's Yang Chen. There's another Airbender. And then you can see there's balance. There's this continuous cycle that is balanced out as shown. So now we will get to the spirit world, which is another aspect of balance, because one of the avatar's main goals is to create balance between the realm of humans and spirits. And the way the spirit world is presented is ultimately up to interpretation, because it's not shown in great detail. Usually it's spirits interacting with the spirit world, and the spirit world is basically an astral plane alongside Earth in the show. And it's really interesting to note that the nature of Earth impacts the nature of the spirit world. So their coexistence is very fascinating, at least to me, because the way the spirit world is presented is very dark. It's a bit grimy. Some of the spirits are almost like monsters because of the war that's going on, and that's like tattering their senses. So in terms of the real world, there's also the 7 spheres, and this idea was prompted by parapsychologist James Hewitt Mackenzie. So the way that this is set up is the 7 spheres surround each planet in the solar system, and the first 2 spheres are closest to Earth, and these are considered the basic levels. And then 3 is held outside of humanity, and this is thousands of miles outside of Earth's atmosphere. And then 4 is the philosopher's sphere, and this is where past lives of creatives, creative souls, might as well be equivalent to muses. They pursue their artistic intents. And then 5 is devoted to contemplation. It's the thinking chair of the 7 spheres. And then 6 is the love sphere. And this is not necessarily romantic or platonic, one way or the other. It's more of a love in a general sense. So that's where love is harnessed. And then 7 is the Christ sphere. And I find this sphere a bit ironic, at least concerning my beliefs as a agnostic, because Mackenzie's ideas of the 7 spheres that he started in the early 20th century were kind of an antithesis to the ideas of heaven and hell, kind of like Unitarian ideas. So he came up with this and theorized this mainly because he was against those ideas of heaven and hell as an afterlife. So I think it's interesting that he has a Christ sphere at all. But I also find it interesting that the Christ sphere is described as crystalline. It's like this crystal kingdom. I think that sounds cooler than heaven, personally. Yeah. So we're going to have an example here of where Aang is interacting with the spirit world. So this is at the end of Book 1, Water. He's almost mastered water, and he is seeking help from a spirit. And like I said, the earth reflects in the spirit world. So it can make it a bit terrifying in this case.
Hello? I'm looking for a spirit named Ko.
Welcome,
Thank you.
my old friend the Avatar. It's been a long time.
You know me?
How could I forget you? One of your previous incarnations tried to slay me, maybe 800 or 900 years ago.
I didn't know that. Why did he or I try to kill you?
Oh, it was something about stealing the face of someone you loved. Of course, that's all behind us. Why should I hold a grudge against you for something in a past life? After all, you're a different person now. You've come to me with a new face. It's been a long time since I've added a child's face to my collection. So, how may I help you?
I need to find the moon and the ocean.
Their spirit names are Twee and La. Push and pull. And that has been the nature of their relationship for all time.
Please, help me find them. An entire culture could be destroyed if I don't get their help.
Oh, you think you need their help? Actually, it's quite the other way around. Someone is going to kill them!
What do you mean? How can I find them and protect them?
You've already met them, actually. Twee and La, your moon and ocean, have always circled each other in an eternal dance. They balance each other, push and pull, life and death, good and evil, yin and yang.
The koi fish! I must be going now.
We'll meet again.
Okay, so as shown, Ko the Face Stealer, like many other spirits as shown in the series, have contempt for humans. So that's another reason why Aang and any avatar has to maintain balance in their world, or their worlds even, because humans are not merely divided into good and evil, neither are spirits. So now we'll move on to the chakras. And as shown by this infograph, the chakras are basically different points in the body that through meditation and through deep acknowledgement represent different aspects of one's life. So we have the crown, the third eye, the throat, the heart, the solar plexus, the sacral, and the root chakras. And concerning the show, in Book 2, Earth, towards the end of that season, Aang is attempting to master the avatar state and acknowledge all of his chakras with the help of a guru. So I'll show you the beginning of one of these scenes.
In order to master the avatar state, you must open all the chakras. And tell me everything you know about chakras.
What are chakras?
Oh, I see. I guess we'll start with the basics. The water flows through this creek, much like the energy flows through your body. As you see, there are several pools where the water swirls around before flowing on. These pools are like our chakras.
So chakras are pools of spiraling energy in our bodies?
Exactly. If nothing else were around, this creek would flow pure and clear. However, life is messy, and things tend to fall in the creek. And then what happens?
The creek can't flow?
Yes, but if we open the paths between the pools,
the energy flows.
There are 7 chakras that go up the body.
Okay. And I'm not going to spoil that episode, but I will say that it gets very emotional because Aang has a lot of struggle disconnecting from any earthly attachment. That's one of his goals as the Avatar, not just as the Avatar, but also as an air nomad as well, because that's one of the primary philosophies of air nomads. And he's also, like I said, one of the last of his kind, because as he was hiding out in an iceberg, afraid of his identity, his whole people got massacred. So now we'll get on to animal guides, because there are a few of those in Avatar. So they're referred to under different names. So under shamanism, they're referred to as power animals, and under Native American cultures, they're under a different name as well. So there are 4 types of animal guides. There's a messenger guide, which basically gives someone a simple message or directive, and they stay with them until that message is complete. And then there's the journey guide, and they appear during the most challenging moment of a journey, and they stay until this moment is completed. And then there's the life guide, which stays through the entire period of one's life. And there's a shadow guide, which tests or provides a moral lesson to someone in need. So how are animal guides presented in Avatar? Well, the most obvious ones are Appa and Momo. So if you can see in the background, there's this big bison. That's Appa. That all the air nomads get a sky bison that they train, and they get to fly around. And that's basically the gang. So that's Aang, Sokka, Katara. I'll get into more of that later. That's their primary mode of transportation. And then there's also Aang's lemur pet, Momo. And they stay with him during the duration of his life as far as it's presented. And then I guess you could consider some other animals shadow guides, because they test humans and their ability to bend the different elements based on where they're from. Also, it is important to know that not everyone can bend elements. Like, for example, Katara is a waterbender, yet Sokka is not. So he just uses his trusty boomerang. Anyway, an example is the dragons. So dragons are what taught the people of the Earth Nation fire. And I'll show you this one clip from book 3 where, I will go ahead and say this spoiler is unavoidable. Zuko may or may not help Aang, despite what I said earlier. To what extent, I will not tell you. You'll have to see for yourself. Anyway, he needs to learn firebending. And he gets help from none other than the dragons. And they show another facet of balance, that fire is not just an element of offense, of attack, of damage. It can also be beautiful and nourishing. So here's the clip.
Sound the call!
happening? Zuko, my fire went out.
What do you want me to do?
Give me some of yours.
No, just make your own.
I can't.
Get some from one of those warriors. Hurry! Stop cheating off me!
Quit being stingy.
These are the masters.
Still think we can take them?
Shh! I never said that. Oh, here it comes. Any moment now. Dinner for the masters.
Quiet, Humgo.
What? Everyone's thinking it.
Zuko, I think we're supposed to do the dragon dance with them.
What? What about this situation makes you think they want us to dance?
Well, I think they want us to do something. Let's just try it.
Fine.
Judgment time.
I understand.
So yeah, like I was saying previously, that scene was showing what I said about fire as a diverse element by literally having it in different colors rather than it being just blue or orange as it was shown previously in the show. And the dance they were referring to, I guess could be considered Zen or martial arts, depending on how you look at it. Technically it would be martial arts because it is a different set of movements, but that's how the dragons accept them. So now we'll get to the last thing, tea. Yeah, I know that might be odd, but it is a bit funny. So Uncle Iroh, he loves tea, right? And he loves brewing tea. He loves drinking tea. He's just a tea connoisseur. In fact, when him and Zuko are on the run, they end up having to hide in the Earth Kingdom. And what does he do? He starts a tea shop called the Jasmine Dragon. And it doesn't help them stay hidden for very long, but I guess that's convenient for the plot, right? Anyway, concerning the real world, it's interesting seeing like how some Buddhists see symbolism in tea, because the bitter leaves are considered symbolic of suffering, right? Which is one of the main facets of Buddhism, that life is full of suffering. And the clear liquid is considered a symbol of discipline to be achieved. And it's clearly involved in many meditation rituals. So in this scene, Iroh, who is originally considered the Dragon of the West, he was originally part of this tyrannical Fire Nation. He was a general. And he broke away from the Fire Nation to protect his nephew. And in this scene, Toph, who is helping Aang learn earthbending. That's all I'll say about her, because she's awesome. She is very exhausted from this trip, and she's very weary, and she just coincidentally bumps into Iroh. And you'll see what I mean with tea.
Oh, that really hurt my tailbone. Here is your tea. You seem a little too young to be traveling alone.
You seem a little too old.
Perhaps I am.
I know what you're thinking. I look like I can't handle being by myself.
I wasn't thinking that.
You wouldn't even let me pour my own cup of tea.
I poured your tea because I wanted to, and for no other reason.
People see me and think I'm weak. They want to take care of me. But I can take care of myself by myself.
You sound like my nephew, always thinking you need to do things on your own without anyone's support. There is nothing wrong with letting people who love you help you. Not that I love you. I just met you.
So, where is your nephew?
I've been tracking him, actually.
Is he lost?
Yes, a little bit. His life has recently changed, and he's going through very difficult times. He's trying to figure out who he is, and he went away.
So, now you're following him.
I know he doesn't want me around right now, but if he needs me, I'll be there.
Your nephew is very lucky, even if he doesn't know it. Thank you.
My pleasure. Sharing tea with a fascinating stranger is one of life's true delights.
No, thank you for what you said. It helped me.
I'm glad.
Oh, and about your nephew? Maybe you should tell him that you need him, too.
Okay. Yeah, and that scene, at least in that point of the show, is a bit ironic because Zuko is considered one of the main antagonists. But I don't want to get into that. I don't want to spoil things any more than I already have. So, one last thing. This is a sketch that Brian Konietzko, one of the co-creators of the show, did way back in 2002, I believe. And that's where he and the other co-creator of the show got their inspiration. So I think it's really inspiring that an entire universe full of all these real-world inspirations, whether it be Eastern philosophy or the elements or anything that I've previously mentioned spiritually, has all culminated from just this little sketch that doesn't really bear a whole lot of resemblance to what the show actually is, but I mean, hey, it was a start. So yeah, for me personally, let's see, I know this shows my age. I'm young, I know. Avatar came on when I was 5. Yeah, it started when I was 5. So I've been watching it ever since it came on. And I have, let's see, I have all the DVDs. I have an Uncle Ira bumper sticker on my truck. I'm wearing an Avatar shirt. I have the yin yang koi fish tattooed on my chest. Yeah, I love this show. I've even cosplayed as a few of the characters. It's a big part of my life, and it's not just the characters or the world itself. It's what I've gained from it. Toph, for example, she's blind, right? The only way that she can get around is through earthbending. She has this thing called seismic sense, where with her feet, she's able to sense her surroundings with earthbending. And I just think that's really cool. And I think that's really good sure, she's stubborn, but like, it's really good for like young kids, even like especially disabled kids, to have a role model like that. And you'll see characters throughout the show. They're constantly struggling, trying to attain balance in their own life. You got Aang, he's struggling to be the Avatar. You got Zuko, he's struggling to capture the Avatar and make his father proud. You've even got Iroh, who sometimes is struggling to just relax and have a nice hot cup of tea. But there is that constant core of balance. And sometimes I think it is really important to notice that balance is everywhere you look. No matter how drastic or difficult or dark things may seem, there is always hope. There's always a sign that the world will be going in a cycle, and the cycle can be turned towards good. And I think Avatar really strongly shows that. I would highly recommend that you watch this show. It's on Netflix as far as I know, but I would just recommend getting the DVDs. They're pretty cheap. They're only about $30 for the whole series. So yeah, thank you. If you're watching on YouTube, I hope you subscribe for more Unitarian Universalist of Tullahoma content. This is Wyatt, and I am out.
Thank you very much, Wyatt. That was great. Really enjoyed it. So we will now go to our closing. No. Something didn't work. Let me try that again. There. Try that. All right, this is not working. We had the, we had a recording of the closing song, but that is not working. So we're going to read it out of the book.
All right. And we can play in the background, the Avatar's Love. How about
All
that?
right, we'll do that.
All right. Yeah, and it's very soft, so please put it on loud as you can.
So here we go. As we leave this friendly place, love give light to every face. May the kindness which we learn light our hearts till we return. All right, let me shut this off. And all right, it's here. We're going to try playing it now.
I already.
Never mind.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
So
they'd like to see it. It's 43 seconds long. It's gone. Okay.
It is now exactly 11 o'clock. So we'll come back at 10 after for talk back. So see you folks in 10 minutes.